What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Stay Hot. I'm Blaiden Kirk, joined as always by the two greatest co-hosts of all time in Matthew Spawnhour and Theo Ash. We have a nice episode planned for you guys today. We're going to announce the winners of the jersey giveaway. But before we get into that, how are you guys doing today?
I'm pretty good, Blaiden. How about yourself?
I'm wonderful.
I'm doing pretty good. I'm all right. I'm still getting over
my.
I think I had a sinus infection. I think that's what it was.
That's what I told you.
I've been sick.
Didn't want to listen to me.
Really opened. I literally agreed. You opened my eyes to it. I'm like, oh yeah, it is a sinus infection.
Yeah.
But I tested negative for COVID.
I saw the vision. You didn't. That's my point. But as always, make sure you guys subscribe, leave a review, comment. Whatever you guys can do on all platforms, keep helping grow this epic podcast. If you haven't, make sure you follow us on TikTok. That'll be awesome to get to 100,000 followers pretty soon. We're at like 72K on the podcast account. It's been growing pretty fast. We hit like 3 million likes today.
Yeah.
And we gave our top 10 shows. And naturally, Matt's got the most love, as it always does.
It just happens to work out that way sometimes.
It does.
It always does, and it's kind of
Blaiden,
makes me upset.
Here's the thing. I didn't look at your top 10. I just saw Theo's reaction to it. I'm like, Theo's being a little snooty about his top 10 shows. And then I went and looked at your top 10 shows list, and
there's nothing else to say.
Something.
There's nothing else to say. There's
Tom and Jerry was a shot.
What's wrong with Tom?
There's nothing.
Blaiden, have you ever seen a drama? Ever.
Like
a dramatic TV show, like a drama.
You ask Blaine,
with good dialogue.
What's your show recommendation? He's like, have you seen Tom and Jerry?
Dude,
before?
There's this mouse and this cat, and they hit each other on the head with bats every episode. Have you ever seen The Sopranos? Have you ever seen The Wire? I haven't seen The Wire. I'm watching The Sopranos.
I haven't seen Breaking Bad.
Have you ever seen like a drama at all? Like just a dramatic TV show, a drama.
Is the 100 that? I haven't seen the 100.
The 100 is discount.
Is the 100 the one they're like on the ship and then they go down to like the Earth?
It's literally just discount Lost. If you watch another drama, Tom and Jerry will be out of your. No disrespect to Tom and Jerry, but like there are
Tom
better.
And Jerry was like
there are better pieces of media out there than
Tom and Jerry was like 7.
It's still a top 10 show ever. They literally don't say anything. They just hit each other with bats all the time, and they like blow each other up with dynamite. Like, I enjoy it too. It's like, but like, man, I've never seen. There's only 6 things I've seen that are better than this, and one of them is SpongeBob, and the other is Star Wars thing, and the other is another Star Wars thing. You got to watch more TV shows. And I get that it's hard. I haven't watched basically any TV since I've started the TikTok account. Because I watch so much football. Watching
TV shows, like new TV shows, is hard because like it's a time commitment.
Look at my list,
like sweat in my eye,
and watch any of the shows on it.
I gotta say, there's a lot of comments that are like, "Why isn't this on here?" Or "Why didn't you put this?" If I didn't put that, it's because I either haven't seen it or it isn't one of my top 10 favorite TV shows, so it didn't make the list.
Either I didn't like it. Or I haven't seen it.
I am disappointed that you guys both had The Office on there, though. I'm a big Office.
It's a good show.
I'm a big Office hater.
It's a good show.
I think The Office is good. It just got too popular for its own good.
It's the worst sitcom that I think I've seen enough of to have an opinion on it. It's worse than Scrubs. It's worse than Trailer Park Boys.
No, I gotta heavily disagree.
Scrubs.
No, here's the thing. I've watched Scrubs all the way through. I'm not a Scrubs hater, but Scrubs falls off so bad. I'm not just talking about the last season. First season Scrubs, I'll give you that. First season Scrubs is great, but The Office
is not that good. It's just like Dwight is
The Office is
on the
great.
spectrum,
and you can watch
everyone
it in any
that's
atmosphere.
fun. That's the big joke, and then everyone makes fun of Dwight, and Michael Scott is just an idiot.
What is Scrubs' joke? JD is just he's just so lame. He's just so unreasonably lame.
It's touching. There are some heavy episodes of Scrubs, and
they're all in season 1.
Some episodes where it's like, oh my god. And it's like that kind of stuff sets it apart. I think basically any funny show that Seinfeld wipes the floor with The Office easily.
Hey, I had Seinfeld
you had
over
it up
The
there.
Office.
Arrested
My
Development.
mom always
the
said I would really like
basically
Seinfeld.
every
I should
funny
probably
TV
watch
show
it.
I've
Yes,
watched
you would-
is
you would
funnier
really
than
like
The
Seinfeld.
Office, but Seinfeld's awesome.
That's one to watch.
I haven't
That's easy
seen
to get
enough
into.
of it to put it in my top 10.
I'll watch Seinfeld.
Seinfeld's very good,
But
very funny. Anyway,
the cartoon slander went too far. It really did.
What are we
Like,
talking about
cartoons are
today,
awesome.
Blaiden?
Yeah. First things first. We're going to get into our giveaway winners. Then we're going to just hop into some quick NFL news. There's obviously like the Gilmore trade that happened. Matt's super excited about that.
Yes.
We're going to give kind of an NFL power rankings, like the Stay Hot NFL power rankings. And then if we have time, because it's going to be a lengthy episode, we're going to try and get into a college football playoff prediction. And then we have a bit of a surprise at the end for you guys. But first things first, we're announcing the giveaway winners. Up first, I'm going to read the review, and then I will read his Twitter handle or their Twitter. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. It could be. But anyway, title is Colts will win the AFC South. Tier of good takes. All right, these are the tier of good takes. Corn Boy kind of likes the Colts. Lemon Boy, indifferent about the Colts. Bird Boy doesn't like the Colts. No bias. So as you can see, he has no bias. And his Twitter is Can't Block Rock. And he is our first winner. So
I wonder if
glad
he
I
would
was
get a
gonna
Colts
jersey.
jersey.
I was going to say, do you think he's going to pick a Colts jersey?
I think he might.
What Colts jersey would you pick right now?
I would probably either go with a, let's see.
Probably
like
Quentin
on the
Nelson,
Colts?
honestly.
Quentin Nelson, maybe. I might get a Jonathan Taylor jersey just because he's a Wisconsin guy, and I do enjoy Wisconsin sports. I would
Gotta go
probably go
Nyheim
get a
Hines,
Jonathan Taylor jersey. I'd rather have that than a Quentin Nelson jersey. But
Nyheim Hines?
I do like Nyheim Hines too,
Come on,
and
that's my
Pittman.
guy.
I wanted the Packers
He's on
to
my
draft
fantasy
Pittman
team.
really bad, so maybe I'd get Pittman. I don't know.
Okay. Well, congratulations on winning the jersey. Can't Block Rock. Are we going to DM him? Is that how this is going to work? I figured
I
we'll
would
DM him.
Yeah,
Probably.
Okay.
What's
we'll
the
just
next
DM
one?
him on the Say Hot account. And then the other one is titled Corn Boy. And it says, Matt, I love you. Heart. Please give me the jersey. Also, my birthday is literally October 7th when y'all record, so it'd be wrong.
Oh,
for you
that's
not to
sick.
pick.
Nice.
Yes, and these
And
were randomly chosen.
for
so
you-
this is
yeah, for
this is
everyone
a
asking,
coincidence.
These were random.
It was Blaiden and Theo who did the random choosing as well. It wasn't even me.
Yes.
So
It was random. Matt, I FaceTimed literally like an hour ago, and I was like, hey, we need to do this. Theo picked up. Matt didn't pick up. I was like,
fake.
Theo was like, I'll just pick some random numbers.
Yeah, I
And was
I
like,
just
cool.
said two random numbers, and then we went down to that part of
Yep,
the review.
So
and
we,
that's how we picked
we
the
just
winners.
picked
So
them.
those are the two.
and it was fate. Happy birthday, man. Twitter
Yeah, happy
maximum
birthday.
_ clout.
Let's go, maximum
And,
clout birthday jersey. What will he pick? Anyway,
What will he pick? Hopefully a Colts jersey. But moving on, congratulations to you guys, and we will be DMing you. Well, by the time this episode drops, we will have already DM'd you. So, but that's besides the point. Week 5 is underway. We're currently watching the Thursday night game. The Rams are winning, and Theo is in shambles because he tweeted out that the Seahawks would win.
I did.
But Matt is not in shambles because his team made a trade for Stephon Gilmore.
yes, everyone keeps asking me, what do you think about the Stephon Gilmore trade? It's good. I like it. We got a good player, and we did not give up very much to get that good player, and we needed that position. So it's good. It's also what I really like about it, more than even just getting Gilmore, is that he wanted to play for Carolina. Like, he wanted to go to Carolina. He's a Carolina guy. So I can appreciate that. I said, the Panthers, I guess they're all in on winning this season. And if we can fix the offensive line, we're really set. But I appreciate the front office being aggressive because the team's been pretty boring the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think that it was a very fortunate circumstance that they could get Gilmore for what they did, and a lot of things went into it. With his injury, he won't be ready to play for another couple weeks here, and the fact that they have a lot of cap room. At this point in the season, most teams go into week 1 skirting the line of that 180 million. They don't want to go into the season like with a ton of extra money to spend. You want to use pretty much the entire cap space that you have given to build your team for a specific year most of the time. There's a handful of teams that could afford Gilmore at this point, and the Panthers were a team with, I think, almost $20 million in extra cap space. So they can afford this luxury of a trade. If you wonder why he was only there for a 6th-round pick, just not a lot of teams could afford him. He was about to get cut, so that kind of, I think, knocks the value down a little bit, or a lot, I guess. And he's 31 and injured.
I said on my TikTok, it's like the Rob Gronkowski situation. They traded him to Detroit, and he's like, I'm just not going to play there. Gilmore could have easily done this. He's like, no, what are you going to do?
Right.
Yeah. I was on live earlier, and one thing I was talking about the Patriots, because I was live with Brianna, and she's a Patriots fan, and one thing I asked, I was like, are you like upset as a Patriots fan at what they've done to this point? Because they spend all this money to go all in, kind of, and maybe it's not like to win a Super Bowl. You want to be like a good team, and then you cut the quarterback who you could win now, quote unquote, win now with, and now your former Defensive Player of the Year cornerback is gone. Like, this has got to be like the worst, considering Bill Belichick is like highly regarded as this superstar managerial mind.
I don't know about that with his draft
I'm just
picks
saying
recently.
he has, but like now it's like really coming down. Like this is
worst case scenario.
Like peak bad. This is peak bad for the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, Gilmore wanted to get paid a lot of money, and New England was not giving it to him. And I think that creates a situation where he just is mad, and he just doesn't respect the organization because he doesn't feel like he respects him. And a lot of times, it's a human league. It's a league made up of people. And sometimes you just got to get rid of a guy who doesn't want to be there, or a guy that there's just no respect between the coaching staff and the player. And no matter how good they might be, it's just tough to go through a whole season and with a guy who doesn't really like you, So I kind of think like from a football standpoint, if he was like, oh yeah, I'm all in on board. I love this place. I love these guys. You wouldn't see this move happen, but that's not his mindset. So it's like, okay, the Patriot way, you need to be kind of all in, and Gilmore, understandably so, because he's so good.
Let's be real.
What?
The Patriot way has never been like, oh, guys are loyal here. They stay here for 10, 15 years. It's reload.
Yeah,
so
that's kind of what's happening. Yep. The defense has been good these past couple of weeks. They've been a good defense, and they can hold the Buccaneers in check with the guys they have. They can hold whatever team they want in check with the guys they have, really. So it's like, okay, if we're good without him and he doesn't want to be here and he wants this big contract and he's hurt, like it's just time to move on and get what you can for him. Like I don't know if I would have done it, but I'm just saying, like, when you see these vets get traded for nothing, and it happens kind of often where it's like, oh my God, why did this happen? It's like, it's not just from a football standpoint or like a on the field standpoint, like a lot of fans think. It's a human aspect to it that
you just don't want to have players on your team who don't want to play for you.
Right.
And Bill Belichick doesn't, he's just not going to waste his time with a guy who doesn't want to play for him. I'm not saying Gilmore's wrong for not wanting to play with the Patriots. Like, okay, it just wasn't working out. Great. But hanging on to him and making a whole situation about it, probably not the best. Moving him was just the way that this worked out more than it is like, oh, this team got fleeced.
Right. Last year,
and then Twitter will just be like, how come my team wasn't willing to give up more than a 6th-round draft pick? They were. It's just it's not that simple.
Right. It's
not bad.
It's who makes the calls. It's a lot of it. And like I said before, a lot of teams don't have $6 million lying around at this point of the season, or, that's all they have. They might have like exactly $6 million.
And even if they do, the kind of intention, or I guess like when you're trading for Gilmore, it's kind of like it's understood that you're going to extend him.
Right. Exactly.
Right? If you don't have the money down the line,
the Packers were a team that was rumored to get him, and I knew for a fact that wasn't going to happen because we're very strapped for cap space this year. We could have maybe fit him in because I think we had like $7 million. But in the years after this, like the Packers cannot sign. They're in a Saints level cap hell right now. So it's like you get them for a couple games, the rest of the season.
And he wanted to go to Carolina. He didn't want to go to Green Bay. He wanted to go to Carolina.
But Theo, on the bright side, you didn't get Stephon Gilmore, but you did get an elite linebacker in Jaylon Smith.
Oh, my God.
I can't even say that with a straight face. Like,
Jaylon Smith. And all the Packer fans were like, well, he can't be worse than what we have. He can be worse. He's not good at anything besides being named Jaylon Smith.
Who were your linebackers?
It's like Oren Burks and there's like Barnes and Ty Summer. And they're not good, but like neither is Jaylon Smith. And I just can't get excited about a guy who's bad. I don't care what the deal is. Like, we signed him for nothing. He has no instincts. His athleticism is sapped. He's not good in coverage. He's not a great tackler. It's just like, why would I be excited about a linebacker like that? Like, yeah,
he's kind of like the perfect storm of getting hype.
Mm-hmm.
Was supposed to be a top pick, but then he got hurt. So it's like, we got a steal when we got him in the second round. And he's super athletic and he plays for the Cowboys and he, racked up a bunch of tackles. Those are all things that get a guy hype. That does not necessarily make them a good player. And Smith has all of them.
Yes. No, he was such a great story. And then it seemed like he came back at an elite level and he was playing okay football when he made the Pro Bowl. But it's tackles, tackles are tackles. There's a lot more important things as a linebacker, as counterintuitive as it sounds.
He kind of reminds me of like Christian Kirksey, like last year.
Yeah, he was really bad.
Like at worst case, when Christian Kirksey was on the Browns, like early on in his career, he was actually pretty good.
Yeah,
but then he started getting hurt, and he wasn't as athletic anymore, and it just went down.
You were a big Christian Kirksey fan.
I've been a Packer fan.
Huge Christian Kirksey fan.
I've been a Packer fan my whole life, and they've never had a good linebacker. They had AJ Hawk, who is like fine.
I was about to say, you can't say they've never had a good linebacker. No, they
never have. Never, ever. I mean, Devondre Campbell is playing some really good football so far this year. So I guess Nick Barnett was okay. He was okay. Clay Matthews, okay, he was a outside linebacker. I'm talking like middle linebacker, like Mike linebacker, not like
you said they've never had a good linebacker.
Okay, they've never had a good off ball.
I'm like, Matt and I are literally sitting here looking at you, and I know we're both thinking Clay Matthews.
Okay, they've never had a good off ball linebacker. Nick Barnett and AJ Hawk were like okay, but like they've never had like a really good one, and they still don't. I've never like watched the Packers and been like, man, I really love our linebackers. So I just don't. Yeah, Carolina fan over here can't relate.
Baby.
Yeah, Kuechly was, he'll be in the Hall of Fame easily, so first ballot. But anyway, linebackers are not something that's going to absolutely sink your defense, but if there's a weakness on your defense, it gets exploited. It's not like offense where you can just like not throw to that wide receiver if you have a bad one out there. Like having bad defensive players is not good because you can just be like, okay, I'm going to run over there or I'm going to throw over there. Whoever Jaylon Smith is on, I'm going to throw at him.
I know what it's like to have bad linebackers.
Yeah.
But hey, we have JOK now and he's awesome.
JOK is awesome. He is awesome.
He is really good. We're watching the Seahawks game, and you can see that kind of happen with Jamal Adams. He's getting targeted a lot tonight.
Yeah, Adams, man, that's never good to give up 2 first-round picks for a defensive player. That is one thing where it's like...
Who then gets picked on in coverage?
Yeah.
Awesome for a safety. That's
okay. It's different if it's Jalen Ramsey. I'll give up 2 first-round picks for Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, even Ramsey, then, we talked about it, but as a whole, the process is not one that I'd be super interested in pursuing.
Bad process, good result.
But Ramsey is a pretty special corner, but Adams was a pretty special safety when it happened, and now
that's true.
Not so much.
and things just don't always work out. Coverage is really hard to perform at a high level year to year.
Blitz boy, unfortunately.
Blitz boy, unfortunately. He is really good at blitzing. The Seahawks would have had no pass rush last year if he wasn't there.
So here's the question. We're in like the final 2.5 minutes of this game.
Mm-hmm.
If Geno Smith pulls this out, right? Like,
Goat.
We're talking MVP, right?
If he's pulls this one out, quarterback controversy.
Quarterback
controversy,
man.
Russell Wilson traded tomorrow.
Russell Wilson. Hey, he might like that. He might be like, oh, looks like Geno. He's so good.
Like, oh, no, don't trade me.
Yeah. Robert Woods, they're showing the graphic right now that he has 12 catches for 150 yards tonight.
Finally, we had the Robert Woods game.
Yes.
Bro, I'm playing against Robert Woods in fantasy, right? Like Will Blackman has Robert Woods, and I have Matthew Stafford.
Oh, this is a rivalry game. You and Will Blackman.
At halftime, Robert Woods had more fantasy points than Matt Stafford, and he might still. I haven't checked since.
He very might would. Yeah,
bro. Like
Robert Woods is super underrated, and I don't want to say he's better than Kupp because of how much Kupp is balling right now, but Robert Woods is good at every aspect of playing the wide receiver position.
I think both Kupp and Woods are criminally underrated.
Woods his hands are demonic. Like he just catches everything. I think when I was going through all the Larry Fitzgerald drop research, I remember Woods standing out as another guy who just has a crazy low drop rate, and he made some catches that a lot of guys might drop tonight. And his route running is super clean. I remember in the Super Bowl against the Patriots, they were on Woods. They were like, that guy's the biggest threat on the Rams. So Woods is good, and it's nice to see him have a breakout game tonight.
Which of you was talking mess about Darrell Henderson?
Me.
Not me. You?
Yes.
I mean,
is he having a good game?
He's been having a pretty good game.
He has against 79 yards. Leave me alone.
A horrible run. Yeah, against a horrible run
against
defense.
Against the Seahawks, but he's been having a pretty good game, Just thought I'd point that out,
I don't know.
My fault.
He's been good.
Don't ever listen to me, I guess.
Anyway.
I don't have him in fantasy. I might have to pick him up, though.
He's not in the free agency. He's starting on someone's team. You don't have any running backs. It's very funny.
I have Nyheim Hines and Myles Gaskin, and neither of them are performing.
All right. It's speaking of the Rams and Seahawks, these are two teams that are in my power rankings, which I know they
should be
going to talk about. And this game might change a little bit on where they rank because neither team has looked particularly impressive. But I'll make division that call game. It is a division game. And Russell Wilson has been out for a lot of it. But
you always get a pass for division games looking ugly in my book.
All right. So I know me and Blaiden and Matt all have our top 10. I've been talking for a while. So how about you guys start with your top 10 teams in the league list through a quarter of the season here so far?
Matt, you want to...
Do you want me to take it or you?
I was going to give it to you.
Well, if you're going to give it to me, I'll have to oblige. Should I go from 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
I think you go
10 to 1.
10 to 1.
10 to 1.
10, I have the Ravens.
All right.
Lamar Jackson, good. But the team has been a little shaky. They could very easily be like 2-2 if it wasn't for kind of one of the craziest ends to a game I've seen in a long time with that Lions game.
Yeah.
At number 9, I have the Chargers. Theo talked me out of them like a jerk. But they're very, very good. Defensively, I think they're a lot better than we thought they were going to be. And Justin Herbert is awesome. No regression for him. He's just very good.
Yes.
At 8, I have the Browns. I'm high on the Browns. I like the Browns. But you don't mean that. You don't mean that.
You're that mad at 8? I have them at 8.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with them being at 8. That's respectable. I am a little bit worried about how Baker looked the last game. And if we're doing this on only 4 games, I'm going to take that into account a little bit. Plus, he has that torn labrum, which I know isn't supposed to be a big deal. But if you tear something in your shoulder and then have a bad throwing game, that makes me feel not super awesome. But they're 8. Green Bay at 7. They've looked very good for the most part since the first game.
They have a disaster game like that every year. I'm not too worried about it.
I have to ding them for losing by 35 points anyway.
Yeah, fair.
At 6, I have Dallas, and I almost thought about putting them higher. I think they're legit. I think they're very legit. Now, I'm not just saying that because they beat my team last week. The defense is legitimately not that bad. And that was a big question because we knew the offense was going to be good, and the offense is good. But defensively, they look a lot better than we thought they were going to. So I put them up a little bit. At 5, I have Kansas City. You don't want to sleep on them too much, but you also the defense does suck. It does.
It's really bad.
I mean, they're 2-2. I feel like it'd be unreal. It feels a little weird putting a 2-2 team in the top 5 4 weeks in, but it's Kansas City, and I'm not. That's one of those teams you don't want to bet against. You don't want to bet against Patrick Mahomes. At 4, I have the Bucks. They looked a little sloppy. They lost to the Rams, but they're also missing like every single quarterback who's ever played for them. So what are you going to do? But they did go get a tough win against the Patriots, so I'll give them some credit. At 3, I have the Rams. They're looking a little bit rougher tonight, but overall, we were high on them going into the season. My opinion on them hasn't changed. At 2, Buffalo. You guys know I'm high on Buffalo regardless. I mean, I like Josh Allen. I saw that article you sent in the Twitter group chat about Star Lotulelei.
Yes, sir. I thought about you. Yes.
Yeah. I'm telling y'all, he's a difference maker. And they've just looked really good across the board. They would be number 1 right now for me if they hadn't screwed up against
Pittsburgh.
The Steelers. That was so bad. That was just such a weird loss. But I fully 100% believe that was just a weird, wonky game. And that's how football is. Sometimes you just lose goofy ones. And that was a goofy one they lost.
Geno Smith just threw like
a horrible interception.
Horrible pick.
It was all setting up for the Geno Smith game winner, and he just airmailed it directly to the corner. I want to see what Lockett was running a crossing route. Oh, Lockett fell down. That's not his fault. He fell down. Okay. Lockett was running a crosser, and he tripped. And
Lockett's looking for a flag, and honestly,
Anyway, yeah.
The Tyler Lockett over on yards for you has just been brutal.
Brutal. Yeah, I lost money on this game tonight. Points. A lot of money tonight on this game.
Lockett might have deserved the flag for that one. I don't know. He was looking for it.
Who knows? All I know is I lost a lot of money on this game tonight. That's okay.
Seahawks fans might be they might be going to Twitter for that. I don't know.
At number 1, I have the team that has the most wins, and that's the Arizona Cardinals. I remember in 2015, the Panthers they had the best record, and ESPN didn't have them. They were like 8-0, and they didn't put them at 1. And there was somebody somewhere said like this is the worst 8-0 team of all time, or something really stupid. So then that was the mantra: worst 9-0, worst 10-0, worst 11-0 team. So I
you got that Steelers treatment.
I have a requirement to respect teams and their record. If you go 4-0, if you're undefeated and nobody else is, you're the best team.
Fair enough.
That's fair.
I think that's a pretty good ranking. Not all that different from what I had. But Blaiden, let's move on to yours.
My top 10. Listen, man. Yeah, I've been talking all day on Twitter about smoking on your top 5. Sam's smoking on the top 10.
Smoking on your top 10 TV shows, man. I don't know how you do it, man. You posted that. I'm sorry. I don't mean to like interrupt you.
No, go.
But you posted that. You just got crushed in the comments. They're just killing you.
Wait until they see his top 10 movie list. When we do movies, it's going to be worse.
Or is it going to be his top 10?
It is not going to be worse.
Oh, once you put Revenge at the Sith as your number 1 favorite movie ever, you are going to get. I don't think you realize how much you're going to get killed. You're going to get absolutely murdered by
Star Wars fans are going to love me.
You're going to get hated on by Star Wars fans and people who just like movies.
No,
and everyone. No one is going to agree.
Almost all Star Wars fans agree that Revenge of the Sith is top 2.
Oh, no, they
top
don't.
2 for sure.
Oh, no,
yes,
they
don't.
Do. No, they do
yes,
not.
They do.
No,
what?
They do not.
No.
Not most Star Wars fans do not think Revenge of the Sith is better than Empire or New Hope. Those are their every Star Wars fan's top 2.
No.
They might have it you find out. You're going to find out.
We are gonna find out.
Yeah, you are gonna find out.
You said, I didn't get nearly as much hate as you guys thought I would. I had a lot of people that like supported my.
I like you. You know what? Here's the thing, man. You're a big Star Wars expert. I'll give you that. I'm not nearly as into Star Wars as you are, and I don't think I know many people are into. Actually, I see online, but like you're big into Star Wars. I know you've seen all the movies probably 100 times or whatever. And I kind of agree. Episode 3 is good. So I think that right now we're questioning the Star Wars expert of the group, and we can't.
I wouldn't say I'm an expert. When I put out those Star Wars movie rankings that I sent you, Theo.
Yes.
I sent you I got blasted.
Yeah, because you didn't have. Yeah, of course you did.
I had Rogue One as my second favorite Star Wars movie. They were like, huh?
Yeah,
and I'm like,
of course they did.
Rogue One's awesome. No,
it's good. It's just not better than New Hope. Anyway,
but anyway,
what is your top 10? Now that you've destroyed all credibility for a top 10 list, what is your top 10 NFL teams at the moment?
At number 10, I have the Chargers.
Okay,
like Matt, I don't think there's anything to say that he hasn't. Their defense is better than we expected, which really I think their defense is about as good as we thought it would be. It's healthy. Right, we were more concerned about health.
No, I thought they would. I was told they
would. I was worried about them being healthy, but at number 9, I have the Ravens. I want to put the Ravens higher. I really do.
Yeah, me too. But, it kills me. But
it's just like at some point Lamar's not going to be able to do everything, and that's what scares me. So at number 8, I have Green Bay. There are some times where they just don't look. They just don't look good. Like, no offense, Theo, but like it. There's some times where they just like look off.
Yeah, they have some drives that are ugly Rodgers, for sure. I don't blame you.
Yeah,
but I assume they'll probably get better as the year goes on. It's Green Bay, it's Aaron Rodgers. I'm not too worried about it. Same thing with my number 7 team, the Chiefs. They look rough right now. The defense looks bad. It looks really ugly.
Bad. It's rough. It's not good.
It's gross. But at the same time, it's the Chiefs. It's Mahomes. They just got Josh Gordon. And apparently Josh Gordon and Mahomes have hit it off right away. So that should be fun to watch.
That could turn rough real quick if Gordon is even close to him former self.
Oh, no. I thought you meant rough as in bad. No, that could be
good.
That'll be scary. I love Josh Gordon, man.
I do.
But number 6, I have the Dallas Cowboys.
Just like me, man.
And they just look so good. They really do just look so good. I mean, they hung with the defending champs.
Their only loss on the season is a tough one. Was it on the road? In primetime, game 1 to the Bucks.
Yes,
that's a tough one to lose. That's a tough one to drop.
And here's the thing, right? Their defense hasn't even looked that. Their defense has looked pretty solid.
Yeah.
Trayvon Diggs has been a monster. I'm pretty sure he has an interception in every game so far,
and
right?
2 against the Panthers.
2 against the Panthers and a pick 6 against the Eagles. He's been nuts. I made a video about him because I was just talking about how quick he's been. And how patient, there's a pick he has against the Panthers. I hate, not to bring it up, Matt, not to give you PTSD or anything. But he just last year it felt like he was trying to inflict his will against an offense like he did at Bama. And you just can't do that in the NFL at corner. And he just sits, he's patient, and he just lets the offense come to him. And they make a mistake and he makes them pay for it. And it's so much, I love watching it. At number 5, I have the defending champs, the Bucks.
It's a little low.
It might be a little low, but their secondary's not exactly on par right now.
I guess, yeah, that's fair. I would just say that
they have some weaknesses, and they have some like Gronk's out right now, and Gronk
if we're counting for injuries, then
part of that team.
I can see it.
I think Jason Pierre-Paul was out, right?
I have no idea.
Yes. I don't know for how much longer, but he has been out, yes.
Yeah, neither do I. But I just remember I was looking at the injury report and he was out. At number 4, I have the Cleveland Browns. And I know people are worried about Baker and his labrum. if Odell has played with a torn labrum for 10 years, Baker can do it for a year. I'm not too worried. And even if it's a hindrance, we have the best offensive line, the best running back duo in football. Like, there's so much the Browns can do offensively. The Browns have now turned the corner defensively. They're looking fantastic. Now, given, the teams we've played, whatever, offensive lines, Myles Garrett's obviously a dog. JOK's the highest graded defensive rookie by PFF. There's just so much going the Browns' way. And I might be a little biased, but they're 4. Number 3, I have the Bills. The Bills look great, except for that one game to the Steelers, but everything else is seeming to click very, very well. Number 2, I have the team that's playing right now, the Rams. And
they're your Super Bowl pick, right?
What?
They're your pick to make it to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, they were my Super Bowl pick. And they've looked very good, except for one game to the Cardinals, who are the best team in the NFL. They're undefeated. They're the only undefeated team. You kind of have to give it to them. So That's my list. And without further ado, or I guess saving the best for last, maybe.
No, it's. I don't know if it's going to be considered the best for last because the team I have at number 10 is about to drop to 2-3 in the Seattle game, and I have Seattle at number 10. I still think I kind of thought of this list as who would I pick to win, and I thought about the Chargers or Seattle here.
You're right, Theo. That's how the list should be.
If they played each other and there was a healthy Russell Wilson, I would bet on Seattle. I really would. I still have a little bit of pause on the Chargers. I still 4 or 5 weeks into the season here am leaning a little bit on my priors. I would bet on Seattle to beat the Chargers, and maybe that's silly and stupid of me, but I just would. I don't know. I have faith in Russ in the offense, and I think they were the better team tonight against the Rams. Honestly, before Russ got hurt, I thought that they were looking a little bit better. They just got unlucky with some penalties that took back a touchdown. And I don't know. I've just got Seattle. That might be a bad idea. I made this list right before this game started. So
I think you're right with how you make it. It should be a little bit off vibes, more so than just
after
records.
This game. I don't know though. Maybe I'll change it to the Chargers.
My top 10 teams with the best vibes.
Yeah, maybe I would change it to the Chargers now after they just lost this game. But anyway, it's either Seattle or the Chargers. Whatever makes you less mad. That's number 10. At number 9, I've got Baltimore, same as Matt. And then at number 8, I've got Cleveland. I pretty much agree that I'm a little bit nervous about the QB play in Cleveland and a little bit nervous about the everything else play in Baltimore. But Baltimore is getting some guys back.
Okay, so we trade Lamar to the Browns.
For Baker. Yeah, I don't know. It's Baltimore and Cleveland are both really good teams. There's just ones that I like a little bit more because they're just more complete, and I don't have questions about maybe the offensive line or the receiving core like I do in Baltimore and the quarterback in Cleveland. So I've got them at 9 and 8. I do have Cleveland with a very slight edge over Baltimore because I think the emergence of JOK is really going to help them. Yeah, he's been really phenomenal. Good instincts.
So good.
The speed is pretty blatant with him. He's just really fast for a linebacker. They haven't been getting run totally all over when he's out on the field, so that's good. That was kind of the concern with him. They found a good spot for him. He's been really good, so that gives them a slight edge over Baltimore. At number 6, I'm going to go with Green Bay. Yes, they have looked very good for some stretches, and Rodgers has hit some absolutely out-of-this-world insane throws, and the offensive line has been pretty good despite the injuries, and the defense is starting to pick itself up a little bit. But Rodgers has not been nearly as efficient this year as he was last year. The deep balls haven't really been connecting. The play action game hasn't been quite as strong. They really have not imposed their will on any team like some have. So I've got them at number 6, but I still have a lot of faith in them going forward, and they seem to be trending in kind of the right direction. And when they're on, they don't have a ton of weaknesses, like the offensive line, skill positions, quarterback. The front 7 is pretty good despite the addition of Jaylon Smith. And it depends on when Jair is getting back, but I like to think he'll be back somewhat soon. And that makes the secondary pretty good on paper. So I've got them at number 6. At number 5, I've got Tampa. And Tampa's secondary scares the hell out of me. It really does. And I feel as if, who did they just lose to? The Rams by a lot, and then they almost lost to the Patriots. It's like any good offense they come against could kind of carve them up through the air a little bit. And it's not something like the Chiefs, which I'll get into, which I think is mostly like communication errors and then beating themselves. Like this is just like kind of a lack of talent in the secondary and a lack of depth in the secondary, which is bad news. At number 4, I've got Dallas. And I think if they played again, Dallas would beat Tampa Bay because it was so close the first game.
For sure.
Yeah, it was so close the first time. And I don't quite know when Carlton Davis is coming back. So, and Dallas has kind of really come into their own, and their secondary is what's really impressed me. Anthony Brown has been super sticky in coverage. I really liked what I saw out of Jordan Lewis in the Panthers game. They were all over the Panthers wide receivers, and Trayvon Diggs obviously has been a powerhouse so far with 5 picks in 4 games. They've got a lot of good corners, I think now, which is weird to say because they were all so bad last year, but film don't lie. They've been nice. They've been sticky in coverage.
I don't think anyone has said that since Dion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
I saw a lot of people posting the Dion.
But they've got a bunch of capable guys in that cornerback room. Micah Parsons has been absolutely phenomenal.
I think that's another big. He's been great,
absolutely phenomenal in a lot of different areas, especially rushing the passer. He made some big plays in that Panthers game up and around the line of scrimmage. He's so athletic and fast, and he has not been a total liability in coverage, which is something I was a little bit afraid of when he came out of Penn State. But he's been solid in that area, solid enough for a rookie linebacker. And then Randy Gregory has been a pretty nice pass rusher. I know he was causing some havoc in that Panthers game, although he was on Cam Irving. I just think that they're a really solid team all around. Their defense is maybe outperforming their talent level a little bit right now, but it's still a pretty solid unit. And then on offense, that offensive line is maybe not back to prime form, but it's one of the better units in the league.
Very good. Still very
good.
More than good enough.
Zeke and Pollard. Zeke has looked like a damn good running back this year so far. I mean, he's looked the best he has in a couple years, in my opinion. I know he lost some weight in the offseason, and I think that's helping him right now because, making my words a little bit there, because Zeke has looked quite nice. And Tony Pollard is as good as he's ever been, too. That's a great 1-2 punch. So, and then obviously the wide receivers, Dak, everything about the Cowboys unit is pretty good. So they're number 4. And number 3, I still have the Chiefs. And if I'm talking about who I would bet on, or no, at number 4, I'm skipped to Buffalo. Number 4, I've got Buffalo. I kind of think that they've got a little bit of some Mickey Mouse wins against backup players in a horrible Texans team. And I would pick...
They won
I don't disagree,
they won 40 to nothing.
Yeah,
they've won. Yeah, they've won. I guess in the manner you'd expect a really good team to beat a really bad team. But they're playing Kansas City this weekend, and I think I pick Kansas City in that game. Like that's just the only reason why I do pick Kansas City in that game. I think that I know the defense has looked so bad. The Bills' defense has been good. You're not really going to find any statistical logic to it. I just think that Kansas City
it's not
will
like
win.
The one thing the Bills defense isn't very good at is like stopping the run, I guess. But the Chiefs also don't run the ball very well.
They don't run the ball. The Bills don't run the ball. I don't know. I feel like
everything lines up for the Bills to win.
Allen has been a little bit spotty this year. That's the main thing. Allen, as much as they've been winning by, Allen has been a little bit spotty, and it makes me a little bit nervous. So they're still a top 5 team for me, but I want to see a little bit more consistency out of him. This Chiefs game will be a big one and really selling me that they're legit again. But I do kind of anticipate the Chiefs winning that game.
I will say that I think their run game has been maybe a little bit better than you think. It's not been bad at all.
I guess.
Zach Moss has looked a lot better too.
Yeah, he has. So maybe they totally proved me wrong, and I know they're number 1 in like DVOA and all that. So maybe this is dumb, but I do have the Bills at number 4 and the Chiefs at number 3. And this game will do a lot in changing my mind on that.
Listen, Theo, I don't want to like call you out, but this is like the 3rd week in a row that you're like picking the Chiefs based on pure vibes.
Yeah, well, I'm picking the Chiefs because they have Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce.
I get it.
And their defense, here's the thing on their defense. I don't think they have no talent on their defense. I think they just have had so many miscommunications, and it's a fixable problem. It's something that one of these weeks they're going to put together a game where they don't fuck up so much, and the defense is not going to be one of the worst in the leagues. I
kind of think, like, if we want to talk about Mickey Mouse wins, the Browns kind of gave away the game and they were gonna win, and then it's like a dumbass punt. And if the Chiefs had done that, we'd be talking here about.
You could say that for the Chiefs though against the Chargers though, where it's like dumb giveaways were the only reason why. Their defense has been playing so poorly that their margins for error are very thin, and dumb turnovers really decide the game, or penalties or whatever you want to say. So the margin of error is very thin for the Chiefs when their defense is playing this bad. But, I mean, Mahomes, he threw 5 touchdowns. He's probably leading the league in touchdowns right now. I still think that 14. Big three is more dangerous than pretty much any other unit and masks a lot of the flaws they have. Clearly not all of them because they're 2-2. But I think those communication errors are going to work out for them, and I've got them at number 3. Number 2, I've got the Rams, and number 1, I've got the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals would be favored against basically any team they play right now. Obviously, they just beat the brakes off the Rams, and I don't see that Chiefs defense really stopping that run game and Kyler and all the different ways they can threaten you, which is everywhere. And they can threaten you in power run, speed option.
They're
down
fast.
The field, everything.
We can match your speed. Okay,
well, they're my number 1
outpower
team.
You.
So yeah, that is my top 10, and those are all of our power rankings. But so pretty much all pretty similar. I think I'm a little bit higher on Dallas maybe than you guys are.
We have the same guys in the top 10.
Yeah, maybe a little bit higher on Seattle. I still think Seattle is going to rally and make the playoffs in some way, even after this bad start.
I had the Seahawks at 11.
Yeah.
So it's not.
It's a tough schedule to rally against.
It is. I still think they're going to do it. I just have this. They always do it, and I know that it's bad now. But
usually the Seahawks start out hot.
But they've got some gimme games. Yeah, they can do it.
I think the 49ers are pretty clearly the worst team in that division. I think that they're going to rally and make the playoffs, or maybe that 7 seed. I still think the Seahawks are very, very dangerous.
I don't know if I'd say the 49ers are the worst. They're just so damn confusing.
Oh, they're the worst. They're the worst in that division. I mean, the Seahawks just beat them pretty easily.
I mean, so. I'm just saying, like, talent-wise, it's like there's just so much that is weird on that team that maybe if they had shit figured out,
who do the 49ers play this week? They play the Cardinals.
Not good.
They're getting destroyed.
Divisional games can always go kind of either way.
Yeah, that's true. It's not.
So I don't think it's. We have our locks. I don't think any of us are going to lock in.
No, I thought about locking the Cardinals.
Really?
I thought about it.
I wouldn't lock them, and we'll see if Lance can give them a little bit of
I do want
to them that
I'm not
that
going
Garoppolo wouldn't. We'll see. I don't know if I would bet on it, but I think the 49ers are pretty easily the worst. And, looking at some of these other Week 5 games, which we should probably do because it's a preview.
I haven't
That's
picked my
definitely
locks,
one that stands out to me.
But I'm not feeling great for Davis Mills against New England's defense. Something tells me that does not seem like
Davis
a
Mills has been horrific, and I never understood the hype on that guy. His accuracy wasn't that good. He's just big white guy that is a prototypical quarterback that you see, and he's half of his height is neck, so it's not even a good height. It's
your Brock Osweiler,
Mickey Mouse height.
Mickey Mouse height. That's all in the neck, kind of like me, but it's. No, he's not it at all. I'm pretty much locking any. The Texans got off to such a nice little start, and then Tyrod got hurt, and Davis Mills is just bad at everything.
87 yards, 4 interceptions is a rough one.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's horrible. He's bad at pretty much every aspect. He's not fast. He just doesn't have a huge arm. He's not accurate. He doesn't make good decisions. He takes dumb sacks. He's a rookie, so obviously he's the dumbest player out there. He's just not. I don't know what people were looking at when they said gave him a little bit of first round hype even during the draft process.
Yeah.
That was a very strange time. But yeah, that game, Patriots should roll. The Cardinals should roll. I think one of the more interesting games this week will be Browns Chargers.
Yes.
I'm a little scared. I can't lie.
Yeah, I think this game will go a long way into. I think the Raiders were kind of Mickey Mouse when they were 3-0. That's like the 8th time I've said that tonight. But like the Chargers, they did beat the Chiefs, and that obviously was a very quality win against a great team that is the Chiefs. So the Chargers are legit, and where I went wrong on them, I think they just play so hard. I think I just underrated Staley's impact. Like the talent wasn't quite there, and the talent didn't fit Staley's scheme at all because they ran something completely different last year. But you watch that Chargers defense, and they're just flying to the ball, and they're so swarming. And against the Chiefs, they were just mugging everyone and forced all those fumbles. So, like, I think this will be
I think this will be a really good test for the Browns defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the first good offense we've played since the Chiefs, and now we've kind of like got our ducks in a row. JOK looks really nice.
Vikings are
Denzel Ward.
You have the Browns picked?
I think the Browns will win. I think the Browns will win. I mean, I'm going to pick the Browns. Who do you think I am? I'm going to pick the Browns.
When's the last time you picked the Browns to lose a game?
The Chiefs, week 1. He had the Chiefs beating the Browns week 1.
But on the condition that he thinks that they will beat them
in the
later.
In the
AFC, he'll beat them in the playoffs.
Yes. Yeah. But I never knew how tall Keenan Allen was. I have watched Keenan Allen before, like obviously, but he's like 6'2.5", 6'3". Like I didn't know he was that tall. And Mike Williams is 6'4". The Chargers, those wide receivers are a dirty 1-2 punch, and
Keenan Allen's also here's the thing, right? Keenan's like 6'2", 6'3". He's also one of the best route runners in the NFL.
Yeah. He's ridiculous.
Like to be that big and run routes that well.
Herbert is top 5, and I think he's number 5. I am going with this take. Kyler is making it tough on me because he just can break you in different ways. But man, he is brutal. So the Herbert versus Kyler debate is one that I go back and forth on. But man, Herbert also is balling, and he's a little bit like Josh Allen, but like maybe not quite as good of a runner, but maybe a little bit more consistent with like where he places.
I think he's a little bit more
football.
consistent with where he places the football. He's not the runner that Josh Allen is.
He's not the runner that Josh Allen is, but like he can still move a little bit. He's still a good athlete.
No, he's not. He's not a rock.
I have heard some pro scouts that say there are only 2 quarterbacks they've ever seen with such tremendous arm talent where the ball just like effortlessly leaves their hand, and it's Josh Allen and Justin Herbert.
That's what I always say about Josh Allen. Every single time he throws the ball, I'm in awe. I'm never ready for it.
Yeah. Favre was like that too, and Vic. But in the league right now, I think those two, even stronger arms than Mahomes, like objectively. Mahomes' arm angles and the way
I feel like here's the thing, even with like Vic, it looks like he's trying to force the ball. Like he's pushing.
Vic is ripping.
Right? Like you've seen Vic throw. Awesome. He's putting everything behind that football.
Vic has the strongest arm I've ever seen. I don't care.
With
Vic,
Herbert, it's just like it's just he makes it look easy.
No, watching him, it's just so ridiculous. I would have hated to play Madden online when he was in the game. He just looks like one of those guys, and it's the same thing. There's always a couple of guys in the league where you can't believe how far they can throw it.
Yeah, and Herbert's one of those guys, that flea flicker when the ball left his hands, like I said on Twitter. I would never been so sure of anything in my life that was just going to be a touchdown. Like, he just has that about him where it's like, when he goes deep, I expect it to be a score. That's just the thing you come to expect from him. And he is, every game he hits some ridiculous pass that puts a dent in their clavicle or whatever. And he's just, and I do love his height. Being 6'6", just I think makes him a little bit more consistent. And with Kyler, he breaks your back in ways that Herbert can't do. But again, when you get on a playoff run, I think you want someone who's just a little bit better in structure. And I think that's something that Herbert is going to be. Kyler, what you want to do with Kyler is kind of contain him and like make him just make quick, easy throws over the middle the whole game and not let him get out. Herbert, you can't do that. And it's easier said than done with Kyler, absolutely. But
yeah,
I don't know. I slightly prefer
here's the
Kyler.
thing, like,
I mean,
with
Herbert.
Kyler, with guys like Kyler, you're always running the risk of like, oh, we have to stop this, and then as soon as you stop that, he just makes you pay with something else.
Right. I'm not. This is
like,
not.
oh, we get pressure, make him throw it quickly. No, he's just gonna sauce your defensive end,
Yes.
and just complete a pass anyway. Like,
yes, my only thing with Kyler, and it hasn't happened. Kyler has been better than Herbert. Kyler's been better than everyone through 4 games. He's the MVP of the league if it ended right now. My thing with Kyler is his style of play is so exhausting and so crazy, and he's so small that it's like as the season wears on and the more sample size you put up on it, I think Herbert is just going to be a little bit more consistent, and Kyler, kind of like Russ, might get off to some really hot starts, but eventually things just like he is not going to have a great game, and it's like it's very small, and it hasn't happened yet, and maybe it'll never happen. But just week in and week out, I just anticipate Herbert to be a little bit more consistent. That
Russ comparison is what gets me, and it'll be interesting. I want to see how many hits. If I know they track how many hits a QB takes, I want to see. I might look that up after this and just see how many hits Kyler's taking compared to the rest of the league. Because if he's taking a lot of hits, then I think we will see that kind of Wilson.
Yeah, but it's just exhausting, man. Like, I think about this all the time. Like, I watch Kyler run around all the time. It's like, if I'm a wide receiver or Kyler or his offensive line, I'm breathing pretty heavy afterwards. It's just an exhausting way to play football. And as the season wears on, that's kind of my theory on like why Russ is kind of broken down a little bit, as he seems to do.
Russ is broken down because he has taken more hits than any quarterback over the last decade.
And it's just the brand of football. It's just a little bit hard to be consistent.
Yeah. But anyway, I think it's time we move on to our college football playoff predictions. I feel like Matt, we already know he's going to put Cincy in.
I am.
And I can't even disagree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like
things are lining up for them right now.
So I think we just talked through this. I don't think we need to sit here and be like, at number 4, I just think like when you look at the current rankings, it's like Iowa and Penn State have to play, and they play this week.
Let's not do this because the current rankings aren't the rankings. The AP poll is not the college football playoff poll.
Let's not worry about the AP
completely. This happened to Cincinnati last year. They were like 4, and then the college football playoff rankings came out. And
let's not worry about the AP poll then.
There are 7 real contenders right now. Maybe a couple other fringe teams for the college football playoffs, and that's the winner of the SEC, the runner-up of the SEC, the winner of the Big 12, Pac-12, Big 10. Hypothetically, ACC, Cincinnati. Those are the teams that can make the playoffs, with the fringe contenders being like BYU if something totally nuts happens, or there's a couple scenarios where the runner-up of the Big 10 could get in if everything falls perfectly there. And when you're looking at that, I'm thinking that the winner of the Pac-12 is not looking good. The winner of the ACC is not looking very good. And if Oklahoma loses, the winner of the Big 12 is not looking super awesome. And that would make me think that the winner of the Big 10, Cincinnati, and then Alabama and Georgia would make it.
Here's the thing. Even if you're looking at, let's say Oklahoma wins out.
Yes.
Has Oklahoma looked good?
See, this is what's interesting. Oklahoma winning out is guaranteed to get in.
Yes.
I promise you. It doesn't... Because they're a Power 5 school.
Bro, they look horrible.
The way to look at this is that they beat Tulane by 5 points. If we beat Tulane by 5 points, that would be held against us. It won't get held against Oklahoma in the same way if they win out. Power 5 conference. Doesn't matter that their schedule is weak. Doesn't matter. But the way I'm seeing it, I think they're due for a
praying on
loss.
Oklahoma's downfall. Like,
They're due for a loss. You got to figure.
It could happen this week. They're playing Texas, who just put up 70 points on Texas Tech. So that'll be a tough game for Oklahoma.
Where is this? Never mind.
So, yeah, if Oklahoma wins this week, I think that they will be in. Like,
I disagree. I don't think so.
They do not play a ranked team until
they play
the last
Oklahoma
week
State
of the season. And even if they lose if they have one loss to Oklahoma State to end it, I don't know if they don't get it.
I disagree. I don't think because if there's no guarantee that Texas ends the season ranked. They wouldn't be ranked if Oklahoma beat them now.
Right.
So they would have a loss and no ranked wins.
Yeah, true.
That I can't see that. And I think Oklahoma at this point, there's some teams where you're like, the assumption should be that they're going to win out if they're favored heavily in all their games. Oklahoma has played 4 FBS teams, and all of them have been single score, all of them unranked, including a 1-4 Tulane team. I'm not saying it's impossible for them to win out, but I think predicting it or saying it's a lock, expecting it is pretty big. It's a pretty big prediction. And then there is always the possibility that Oklahoma State could go undefeated, and that would screw things up. But they're working their way up from pretty low in the rankings. They have some nice wins. If they get a little bit farther in the season, they totally could do it. And that's another team. But winner of the Big 12 is no guarantee to be undefeated. And I think right now their schedules of Oklahoma and Oklahoma State are not strong enough to overcome being one loss. Because to be one loss, you have to be really, really good. Plus, Oklahoma has kind of gotten beat up pretty rough a lot of times in the playoffs. And that would happen to a lot of teams, but there might be some push to see a new team get blown out by 40.
Yeah, I think that, Matt, you have convinced me on Cincinnati's case, and I think they've got a pretty good shot. And since we've got Bama and Georgia, and maybe Cincinnati, I'll throw them in there just because I can't think of a better case for anyone else than the one Matt has given me for them. So that leaves one more team, and I'm going to go with Michigan. I think that Michigan will win the Big Ten, and I think that will be enough to get them in. They have one of the better offenses in that conference and one of the best defenses in that conference, and their big bugaboo, Ohio State, is looking pretty weak right now. So I look at their schedule, and you've got Wisconsin that they just blew out. Then they've got Nebraska, Northwestern. They've got Indiana. And then they've got to beat Penn State, and they've got to beat Ohio State.
That division is just brutal.
It is.
The thing about the Michigan...
I don't like the quarterbacks of Penn State. I don't think that he is very good. So I think that against that Michigan defense, I think that they would win that game. And then it would come down to Ohio State, assuming they don't blow an easy one. Then it would come down to Ohio State. And I just don't think it's Ohio State's year. I just don't. So I think
that's
they would be
unreasonable.
No, I think that they would win both of those games. I think they win the Big Ten. And if it comes down to the winner of the Pac-12 or even the Big 12 if we're low on Oklahoma, and then if Cincy's the other one, I think that Michigan has got as good a shot as anyone outside of those top two, Alabama and Georgia.
So I would say the two things to keep in mind is, number one, Cincinnati making the playoffs exclusively rides another team losing. They cannot earn their way into the playoffs. They got to go undefeated. We need Oklahoma State to lose and Oklahoma to lose. And we need, I think there's still an undefeated Pac-12 team. And I would even be worried about, I mean this genuinely. I don't think it's going to happen. But if Wake Forest went undefeated, I really wonder if they went undefeated and won the ACC, what they would do.
Wake Forest.
Yeah, they're 5-0 right now.
They
I don't
think 5-0.
Yeah. So you just need a lot to go your way. But for Michigan, Ohio State and Michigan have had one common opponent so far, Rutgers. Michigan beat them 20-13. Ohio State beat them 52-13.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I don't mean this in a cocky way. I actually heard a Michigan fan say this after 2018, and it's been my perspective on the rivalry since. You cannot predict Michigan to beat Ohio State until they actually do it. Ohio State just has that team's number. They've just got them. And maybe it is the year. But I have seen time and time again Michigan have Ohio State on the ropes, and they never pull it off. They never get the 2-point conversion they need. They never get the spot they need to stop them on 4th down and overtime. 2018, revenge tour, Ohio State on the ropes, crushed them. Wasn't even close. Ohio State could blow dumb games, and they could still just end up winning the Michigan game. And I honestly think it's scarier if Ohio State loses another game and they're out of the playoffs. That's scarier for Michigan because then it's like nothing else matters. Who cares about the bowl game? Who cares about anything else? We just want to beat Michigan. And once you get to that point, it's tough for me. I've been saying that Michigan's path to relevancy is beating Ohio State, and I just can't pick them to do it. They're a good team. They've got a good shot at it on paper. It's a tough pick to make. It's a tough pick to make when how many have we won in a row? 8, 9?
Yeah, but eventually they've got to lose one, right?
Eventually.
Eventually.
You would think.
Harbaugh's winless. I would give you that take every single year, and eventually I'd be wrong. But I'm not. I think it's the right way to look at the game.
I don't know. I just think that, it is tough to beat them. It's like picking the Jets to beat the Patriots or something. It's just tough to do.
This is tough because Ohio State has looked really weak. But do I believe in Michigan State? No. Do I believe in Penn State? Not particularly. And now I'm running out of Big Ten teams to pick to win the Big Ten. Iowa, actually, I think one of these teams will give Ohio State fits, and I think they will blow another game. I have no clue which one it will be.
It's going to be Michigan, and they're going to make the college football playoff. Their number 97, Hutchinson, is so good. Their quarterback is, for a college guy, I don't know if he'll get drafted in the first round or anything, but he's a pretty good quarterback, I think. Again, you look at their scoring differential, and it's pretty good so far. I know ESPN has them with the 4th best odds to make it, which you can put whatever stock you want into that. I just don't see the winner of the I don't see Oklahoma winning because of all the reasons you listed.
They just look so weak.
They look so weak, and the winner of the Pac-12 isn't doing anything. And I guess maybe, I don't know. I just think you're looking at that Michigan team and their schedule. I get a funny feeling they've got the Big Ten this year. This is their year, maybe.
Some Ohio State fan. I used to make hype videos all the time. Matt knows this. Mm-hmm. And I promise you, someone is going to use that soundbite of you saying that, like, Michigan's finally going to get him this year. And they're going to make a hype video.
All right. They can't.
They're going to. What top 5 are you smoking, Kendrick? My top 5 is Drake. It's going to be Ohio State.
State. I don't know. I'm trying to be outside the box here. All right. I'm trying to be outside the box.
It's not a bad pick to say that Michigan looks really good right now, and they've got a very clear path to the playoffs. We could even talk about how Michigan could drop a game and still easily make it. If Michigan were to drop, if Michigan were to lose Nebraska, win out, they would easily make the playoffs. There's no question about it.
Yeah, they've got 2 really big games left against Penn State and Ohio State, and those are the 2 teams they need to beat. Both of those teams have very questionable quarterbacks, in my opinion. So it's like if the 2 teams you need to win out against are like not as good as you quarterback wise, maybe not as good as you defense wise, although Penn State has a very good defense.
Here's the take. Here's the take for you.
Those are and that's the only 2 that you really need to beat maybe to get in. Like that's about as good of a case as I can make.
Here's the take. Michigan can drop a game. Ohio State looks like they're going to blow another dumb one. Maybe that's exactly what happens. Ohio State drops another dumb game. They beat Michigan, but they have 2 Big Ten losses. Michigan's only losses to Ohio State. They still make the Big Ten championship game. Then they can still make the playoffs. That could vary. If Michigan makes the playoffs, that might be the way that it happens.
Maybe.
But
I just think,
I'm gonna give my respect to Iowa. They're a very good team. And Iowa has here's the problem. The big contenders you're looking at right now, Michigan State, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, all in the same division. Iowa is all alone on the other side of the Big Ten. If they beat Penn State this Saturday, I think they're in a very, very good spot to do it. I don't know if their schedule is tough enough for them to drop a game. But I would say if they beat Penn State, they'd be my pick to make the college football playoffs. Yeah,
I could see that for sure, which would make it for you. You're picking Cincinnati to be in it, right? Even with all the obstacles that you named.
Imagine if I didn't.
Okay, so
lame would that be, right?
Iowa, Cincinnati, Alabama, Georgia.
That does not sound like a list that inspires faith, does it?
No, it doesn't.
That sounds like first two games.
All we can hope is that
blowout city.
all we can hope is that it's Georgia and Alabama in the championship.
That's what I'll also say that I don't think Georgia Alabama is a guarantee. It's the right pick. It's not a guarantee. All you need is one of Georgia and Alabama to blow one regular season game against two of the toughest schedules in the league or in the country. And all of a sudden, the path to one of them missing is very, very clear.
If I had to bet on one of them doing that, it would be Bama and not Georgia. Georgia's defense is stupid good. It's so good. I saw a stat that they haven't allowed a touchdown or something this year. Like something absolutely ridiculous. Maybe that was last week.
Actually, I would disagree. I'm looking at Alabama's schedule right now, and it is tough, but they've kind of already done the tough part. Their next ranked game is Arkansas, November 20th.
They held
I will never bet against Nick Saban.
3 points, 7 points, 13 points, 0 points, 0 points.
They're both going undefeated.
And Arkansas was a team that was crazy. Georgia's defense is.
Yep, they're both. They'll both make it. It doesn't even
collectively
matter the SEC championship game because they'll go for a round 3, first game of the college football playoffs.
I will literally not bet against Nick Saban. I refuse.
I'll
He's
say
the greatest college coach ever.
So I think the right take is Georgia, Alabama, Pac-12 collapses, Big 12 collapses, Cincinnati gets in, and then whatever the hell happens in the Big 10 is whatever the hell happens in the Big 10. I'm very concerned that if Penn State or if Michigan won out and then lost to Iowa in the Big 10 championship game, they are no guarantee to be left out behind Cincinnati, and that would be it for me.
Then you'd join me on the 12-team playoff is actually good train, right?
Oh, absolutely not. It's even because here's what would I first off, I have agreed with you that 12 teams is better than 4, but I believe that the national title is straight up better. But this gives me the best opportunity because then we could play undefeated Wake Forest in the Orange Bowl, and we could beat them. And then I will claim national championship and be really obnoxious, and then people will complain about it.
After beating the most fraudulent college football program in history in Notre Dame and Wake Forest.
Yes, our big win will be Wake Forest, who will only be ranked because they don't want to have an unranked team in the Orange Bowl.
I thought it was so funny where after Cincinnati beat Notre Dame, someone in my comment section was like, Notre Dame is fraudulent. And then I was like, we know.
I made a video. I was like, listen, Notre Dame fans, I'm sorry, but you guys are the worst at this shit.
It's so funny every single year.
You are the worst good team I have ever seen.
Ever.
They were, I always bring up 2013 national title. They're the number 1 team in the nation, and Bama just comes in and throttles them.
Thank God they're not going to be in the playoffs.
If you're a Notre Dame fan and you're listening, I have 2 things. Number 1, there were a lot of Notre Dame fans saying, Cincinnati didn't beat us, we beat ourselves. No, we beat you. First off, if we didn't make any of the mistakes, we'd win. That's true for every team, every game, pretty much. But number 2, if you want the real answer to why everyone thinks Notre Dame is fraudulent, it's not because they got blown out by Alabama even. That happens to everybody. How many teams haven't been blown out by Alabama sometime in the last decade? Not many. It's that Notre Dame is always ranked highly. And since 1998, the beginning of the BCS, 37 teams have won a BCS bowl. And Notre Dame is not one of them. That's more than my lifetime. Damn. No one's asking them to go win the national title, beat Alabama, but not winning a single major bowl and being ranked highly over and over and over and over and over and over is what makes people think they're fraudulent.
Right. And it happened this year too, when it was like they were just barely squeaking by. Like they're ranked like in the top 10, and then they like barely beat Florida State, and then they move up, and then they like barely beat Tulane, but because they won, they move up. It's like you guys can move them down, like even with a win. Like if it's clear, like no one needs to move them up all these.
That's the same thing with Oklahoma. Can Oklahoma move down, please?
Yeah,
they look so bad.
Like we know that they're not that good. Like they're like, oh, they won. It's like it's okay to be like
the AP rankings are just goofy. They're just funny. Weird, and this is why they have to redo them and do the college football playoff rankings. And I'm glad that they do.
Yeah,
no, it's so bad.
Anyway,
I think that kind of wraps up our college football rant. Do you guys want to give a quick update on the fantasy league?
No.
You can.
I have a good chance. I have a 66% chance of winning as it stands right now, and I need to win. I need Michael Thomas back ASAP, and he's looking good right now. It's just that he's in the PUP list, so he can't come back until after week 6. But Blaiden, if Baker misses Odell Beckham Jr. on a deep touchdown again, I'm going to push an anti-Baker narrative that he will never recover from. It's going to be so intense that he is not going to get a contract because of how I turn everyone against him. This is if he misses Odell and costs me a fantasy game again, it's over for him. He's finished. So that's just a warning. I'm pushing the anti-Baker narrative very hard if he ever misses Odell like that again.
I hope Odell puts up 30 and you lose anyway.
Look, I'm a big Odell fan, and I think that he is still very good. And it's just Baker and I want him to be like, look at him go. And it's just like Baker is like, no, I'm a fraud.
Trust me, I get it. I watch the Browns every week.
Yeah,
and
that's my only rant.
I went a number of years
start seeing some Baker actually targeting Odell accurately, because that guy's still a good wide receiver for sure.
He is. Look, I have currently a 43% chance to beat Will Blackman.
I guarantee you don't with those running backs. Whatever your odds are, it's 0. Your running backs are Nyheim Hines and Myles Gaskin, who are seeing their roles shrink as we speak. And this is why you need to trade me AJ Brown for James Conner.
Is we were literally both on the whole it's going to be hard to keep Nyheim Hines off the field. And then you literally watched Myles Gaskin. And you were like, it's going to be kind of hard to keep Myles Gaskin off the field. And then they just slowly disappear.
It's going to be kind of hard to keep him on the field when the offense is horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I said those things, but I didn't actually draft him to be my running back 1 and 2,
So actually, those takes don't count.
So, yeah.
And I think you're getting what you deserve right now. This is why you don't do 0 running backs. This is why you don't count out an entire position group. Anyway, I have the same record as you, though. My draft strategy was far better. Yeah, we're all bad.
Yeah. It's our own league, and we all suck. We need to start manipulating the points.
we're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
I told you the solution is making tackles.
Fantasy league.
All right,
make tackles count.
All right,
we literally gave segments on fantasy strategies, and we're awful
on some of my fantasy leagues, just not this one. And this is the most important one, and I stink.
All right, but I've got an announcement that I'm going to give. No, Blaiden, you give it. You're the host. Actually, you give it, Blaiden. I don't want to step on
you want me to? All right.
I thought this was a special announcement that I didn't know about, and I would.
No, it's not. No, we've talked about it. I was just being sneaky, surprise with it, but so it's basically just the stay hotline, and all we want is for you guys to obviously call into our hotline and give your thoughts throughout Sunday. It's
not so
as
much,
the games are going.
more like rants. If something bad happens, call the hotline and just yell about it. It's not so much questions for us. It's more like, I want you to vent about stuff that's going on. If you're watching the Falcons and they lose, call in and say Matt Ryan should be working in the Fox Sports booth instead, for about 20 seconds, just go crazy.
That's the one limitation, is it has to be 50. If it's any longer than 20 seconds, we're cutting you off. Like, straight up, we will just end it. Like, no joke.
Yell for like 20 seconds.
And I'll say this. Yeah. I'll say this. We can see the voicemails. So if you do it multiple times, we can see it. And if I appreciate if you try, like if it takes you 2 or 3 tries to get the wording just right on a 15-second voicemail, because I'd have to do 100 takes for 5 seconds of a TikTok because I can't get the wording quite right. So if you got to do multiple takes, you got to do multiple takes. No judgment. Yeah,
don't worry about like blowing up our voicemail inbox. Please do.
Yeah, we got our producers to listen to all those.
That's not.
I like to listen to them. I respond to some of the questions.
Where do you respond to them?
I just go on. If you just go on like the email,
he just like texts them.
Which I'm not on the email. Anyway,
I'll show you.
Okay, show me.
I want to bring something up. We posted a clip to the TikTok, and someone was like, "Oh, these guys mention their producers all the time, like they have producers. We do have producers. You guys have heard our producers talk, like on the show. You guys have heard Alex, and now, like we have Nabil.
One more thing. In the future, we got Halloween coming up. I want to do an episode where we dress up.
Yes.
And
I only have one. Listen, I tweeted out today, and this was a mistake. I was like, "What should I dress up as for Halloween?" And everyone just said lemon.
You should get a big lemon costume. Get a big I'm sure they make
someone
like
someone sent me one. It's $165.
Totally off topic, but you know what's awesome is that you've ratioed yourself so much by saying lemon that now if I do it, not only do you get ratioed by lemon, but people think it's you doing it to yourself. So it's like a double win.
Hey, if you, Blaiden,
and it still is a lot.
You've asked for money online before. So if you wanted to do it for the lemon costume, you could probably go fund me a lemon costume to wear.
Here's what I might do. I might do like a YouTube live stream on my personal YouTube. And I'll just be like, if we raise the money,
lemon costume charity stream.
Lemon costume.
Lemon
charity, it's just me.
I'll buy it. Like, or maybe I'll do like if we have like a ton of like, I don't know how many viewers I would have to have on YouTube. Or like if I hit a certain subscriber threshold, I'll buy it. I don't know. I'll think of something. I'll probably do it like next week.
Well, what I also want to do is like themed episodes, like maybe even outside of Halloween, like a Western episode or a disco episode or something like that. So if you guys have ideas for that, please let us know.
And you can also send those to the Stay Hotline. Like you can comment them on the YouTube, whatever. But like, we just want ideas.
I'm looking at a lemon costume right now. Yeah, you can see it there. It's a dude in a lemon slice.
Is that on Amazon?
$1,225. Yo! Imagine if you bought this though. Imagine if you showed up and did the podcast with the microphone inside this costume.
Yeah. I'll say this: if you made a TikTok about buying a lemon costume for $1,300, it would do well. You'd get a lot of views on that.
It would do so well, but I don't want to spend $1,300.
This
one's only $33, Blaiden. It's just like a little.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's a little wonky, but like
it is, but it is a lemon anyway.
But this is like a It's not a costume. It's like a mascot. That's awesome. You gotta get that.
That'll probably wrap it up for this episode of the Stay Hot podcast. We will be back on Monday breaking down all the Week 5 action. So, from Theo, Matt, and Blaiden, we will see you later.
We'll catch you on the flippity flop.